Well, tonight, a caveat to the notion that we have lost the war in Afghanistan. And here's the point. Yes, as a nation and as members of our military, there's no question that Afghanistan is going to go down as a loss. There's no question. But there are those for whom this is not a loss. In fact, it's a win. It's a big win, especially when it comes to this. I think you know what we're talking about. Joining us now to explain is NRS correspondent Farron Franzak. She has some totals for us, and they're very impressive or very ugly. Depends on how you're looking at it.
I was going to say, it depends upon which way you're looking at it, Rick. But every American should know right now that not only did we pay for our soldiers to go over there, we also paid for the Afghan soldiers to fight there, and we paid them more than our own soldiers.
Think about this for a minute. We paid people to fight in their own country and paid them more than what we pay our troops.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody just stop for a minute and take that in. Everybody at home, just stop for a minute and take that in and tell me if it makes any damn sense. Okay, we've stopped. Go ahead.
Lots to unpack here, but let's look at the total numbers here. Director Kevin, let's throw it up there. So as far as the total cost of the war, you have $2.26 trillion. That would equal $300 million per day that we spent on this war for 20 years. Wow. Every day, $300 million. Or we could give $50,000 to each of Afghanistan's 40 million people. Now let's break down exactly what was in that spending. You'll see it all here, but the numbers that I want you to look at, Rick, $85 billion to train the Afghan army, $5 billion a year in aid for Afghanistan, and then you had the $750 million for the Afghan soldier payroll. So they're finding that it was cheaper to pay the Afghan army than actually send our soldiers there. It costs about $1 million to send a soldier there, not what they're paid, what it costs.
And of course, they fought so brilliantly, these Afghan soldiers, especially this last week.
Right, exactly. And so we look at now who got the most bang for their buck. Again, the defense contractors. So let's take a look here. This is if you bought $10,000 of stock in 2001. This is where it would be today. Lockheed Martin, over $133,000. Northrop Grumman, $130,000. Boeing, $107,000. General Dynamics, $72,000. Raytheon, over $43,000. The thing that's also interesting, Rick, I want you to look at this next graphic. These are the of the top 5 defense contractors. These are their board members. Now, you don't have to read the little nitty-gritty here, but what's important to note is they're all former Secretary of Defense, former Vice Chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former Navy Chief. You also even have Jim Mattis, who was the former Secretary of Defense and former Marine Corps General. A name you will not see on there, though, is former Pentagon official Michael Maloof. But I'm sure you might have some friends or so, too, on here, Michael. What say you?
This is called interlocking, by the way. Yeah. They work in the military. They also work on NBC, giving them advice. They also stand and sit on boards, and then they go in and work in the government, a la Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. Let me stop. This is fascinating, what she has just reported to us. Yeah. I mean, this is what the war maybe was all about?
To a large degree, it is. Yeah,
that's sad.
Well, and that's why you're going to continue to have crisis after crisis, because we have to continue feeding that insufferable giant that will continue to need to be fed, because the defense contractors are very clever. And they have played with our congressional people to put something that goes into every component of every weapons system in every state. Yeah. And so they're all they all have to adhere to that.
They're all bought.
They're bought. Yeah, of course.
Let's face it. I mean,
and it creates jobs on the one hand, but you got to continue to feed that frenzy and that machine.
And that machine gets in the way of the mission. A mission for a soldier should be,
it drives the mission,
right?
It drives the mission.
But it shouldn't.
But it is.
That's sad.
Our neoconservative friends are pushing this agenda. That's why they want to move NATO right up to the Russian Federation to create havoc. Why they're intruding into the Black Sea. Why we are now going into South and East China Sea.
That's why we don't win any wars, too, right? I mean, we didn't win in Syria. We didn't win in Iraq. We're not winning. We didn't win in Afghanistan.
No.
We didn't win in Libya.
We have to determine what is really in our national security interest and be realistic about it. We're looking at everything. Why we are still the only world police in the world. We're the only ones. Russia, China are regional.
Did you look, when you looked at these numbers, it looked to me like everything that you were describing, well, not